How's everybody doing? Welcome back to my channel and a brand new video. So today I'm going to be reading through One Piece chapter 1078. So the big thing in this chapter is that hopefully it picks up where we left off, which is in the last chapter, Shaka, one of the Vegapunks, he got shot in the head. So it's been established, now we know for sure that there is an imposter among us. You know, there's a traitor among us, right? And who it could be, I have no idea, because usually by this point, I think I said this in the last video, but usually by this point, I have a kind of have like a good idea of who I think could be a traitor, or who could be the heel, whatever the heck, right? But for this one, I honestly, I have some ideas, because it has to be one of the Vegapunks, right? I think one of the Vegapunks has to be the one that is trying to ruin things for the crew, right? So my suspicion was that maybe Shaka faked his own death somehow, and that he's actually the traitor. But at the same time, I don't know how much weight that holds, especially after the last chapter. And then, you know, I was thinking maybe he found a way to kind of like, I don't know, like clone himself, or you know what I'm trying to say is that I used to think maybe Shaka was the traitor. Maybe it's still a possibility. You know, we've seen that people faked their own deaths, or not deaths, but injuries, as we saw in Water 7 with CP9, you know, when everybody was guarding Iceberg's room. Along came Bluno and took everybody out, including Lucci and Kaku, but then we found out that they were agents, you know what I'm saying? So maybe I'm thinking Shaka is something like that. But at the same time, probably not. Also in mind, I have that maybe it's Pythagoras, because if I remember correctly, he's the one that got blown up, and then he didn't die. He was still intact, but I think only his head was kind of functioning, and kind of like, I think he ran into, I think it was like Usopp or something. Whatever. But like, what I'm trying to say is that I thought it was Pythagoras at one point, because of the kind of for similar situations as Shaka. Like maybe he set himself up to look like a victim, but in reality he's a traitor. One thing I also was also thinking about, you know, as I'm saying these thoughts right now and I'm speaking them, one thing I am kind of thinking about is like, what if it's one of the Seraphims, right? In particular, what if it's Doflamingo Seraphim? Because, you know, the Seraphims are made from the DNA of the warlords, right? If that is the case, think about Doflamingo. He is of royal blood. You know, he was at one point, or still is, a celestial dragon, except, you know, he's not accepted into the Holy Land anymore. You know, we know his story. We know what happened with his dad and his family and whatever the heck, right? So maybe it's possible that it could be Doflamingo Seraphim, because who's to say that his royal blood doesn't overwrite the command of authority for the Seraphims? Because I think the hierarchy, the command is CP0 at the bottom, Vegapunk. I gotta refresh, but I think the command is CP0 at the bottom, Sentomaru, Vegapunk, and then the 5 elders at the top. So what if someone like Doflamingo with royal blood can also control what the Vegapunks do, and is therefore commanding one of the Vegapunks to act out? That's also a possibility. And also the fact that a gun was used to take out Shaka, it kind of reminds me of how Doflamingo as a kid used a gun to kill his dad. You know, he shot him in the head, and then, you know, we saw what happened with that issue. So that could be a possibility as well. But I don't know how realistic that might be. I mean, it's certainly a possibility, but I think it's definitely one of the Vegapunks. I think that's the way things are being written, that it is one of the Vegapunks that is the traitor. It might be one of the Vegapunks that we don't really know about, or who hasn't really been featured much, because I think the story has been focused a lot on Shaka. He seems to be the main one. And then the other Vegapunks are kind of, you know, they've had their time in the story, but they're kind of in the background a little bit. So it might be one of the Vegapunks that we have met, but hasn't really gotten too much time to shine. You know what I'm saying? So it might be that someone who we wouldn't expect in this situation. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens and where the story goes. So yeah, I mean, things are getting interesting and there's a lot of things happening. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say about my pre-discussion thoughts or whatever the heck, right? So that's all I got to say about that. So I'm gonna go ahead and start reading, and hopefully we get some answers to this freaking murder. I don't know if Shaka's dead, but let's just call it an unsolved mystery. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let me go ahead and jump into the reading and see what happens. One Piece chapter 1078, Escape Limit. You got the cover story is German 66 Cold-Blooded Voyage, volume 33, and so Neo-Mads was formed. Okay, so you got Judge and Caesar teaming up, people in the background cheering and celebrating. I'm curious to see if they're gonna be a thing in Egghead. You know, like, are Judge and Caesar gonna pull up to Egghead Island and do something? Or at the very least, I feel like it's an appropriate arc to name drop them. You know, to have Vegapunk talk about Judge and Caesar and whatever the heck they did together back in the day. I feel like it's only appropriate for it to happen in some way. But I guess we'll see. So that was the cover story. And yeah, moving on to the next page. Okay, so chapter starts here. Lab interior, Egghead, the island of the future. Who's on the other end of the line? Uncle Kizaru's coming here? That's Sentomaro asking. Okay, and then we cut to the second floor, building B. We get a layout of the area. Okay, that's right. CP0 is meant to wait for his arrival after eliminating the doctor. The government's pulling out all the stops, huh? Indeed. I think they consider this incident to be far more severe than Ohara. For one, the doctor not only continued the scholar's forbidden research, he's taken it much further. Second, unlike Ohara, Egghead actually has formidable combative and defensive capabilities. Okay, then we have Sentomaro just kind of taking it all in. Okay. When you put it like that, it's no surprise they're coming loaded. Call me if there's any, whatever. Call me if there's any developments. Is he flying? Okay, no, he's just running. Okay. All the other transponders on the lava stratum are down. Factory. Fabra stratum. Okay. Kerchuk. You heard the lady. The Navy's gonna try and repeat history here, so learn from it. You can't afford to hesitate. Prepare the ships. We need to get off the island. Quickly, before the Marines show. Listen to Sentomaru. Third floor. Lab building C. Usopp. Lilith. You damn brats. Okay. Even if my right side's frozen solid, my left can still pack a punch. If you repent, I'll let you off easy. Okay. So, yeah, okay. Boa Hancock, Seraphim's kind of looking to the side. I think that's Pythagoras over there. Yeah. Why, S-Snake? Who ordered you to do this? Oh, dang, she's about to stop this guy. Crush. Pythagoras. Dang. Look at this big explosion. Holy moly, is he dead? Wait. I said wait. Second floor, building A. All those screams and explosions. I hope everyone's alright. I tried checking. It seems the Seraphim are running amok. You're mistaken. That doesn't make any sense. One thing's for sure. When Nami screams, a certain someone will always dash to her in an instant. Phew. We should focus. I bet everyone's pinned down, since they're all fighting. What if something happens to Vegapunk's main body while they're distracted? Ah, good point. That reminds me, there's a room that's been sealed off for a while now. I wrote it off since the place isn't very useful, but maybe we should go check. Lead the way, Atlas. You got it. Third floor, building A. Edison, hang in there. Well, I'm off to scout for Vegapunk. Wait, Sanji, look out. Wait, I'm just realizing something. Hold up. I just realized something. They're showing... Hold up. I don't want to jump the gun here. But in this chapter, they've shown every Vegapunk except... Let's see. So... okay, hold up. Let me just look back here. Okay, so I'm in the page here. Okay, Pythagoras. Okay, Pythagoras. Lilith is frozen. You know, she's petrified. And then we got Atlas. So that's 3. Shaka is injured. So that leaves York and... Who's the other one? Because there's 6 Vegapunks, right? So, in this chapter alone, they've shown Pythagoras. Lilith is petrified, but they've shown her. Atlas, and we know that Shaka is currently injured. York is somewhere. I think she also encountered Hancock Seraphim, and got petrified. Who's the... Okay, let me keep going. I'm getting distracted. Let me keep reading the chapter. Okay, so... Atlas is leading the way. You got it. Okay, so now we're in the 3rd floor, building A. Edison. Hang in there. Wait, Edison, yeah. Well, I'm off to scout for Vegapunk. Wait, Sanji. Okay. Okay, and then Jinbei is attacking Sanji. And... I mean, he's confused. He's like, holy crap. Don't act so surprised. This is the undying power of love. 4th floor, building A. Okay, we're back to Zoro and Luffy. Those damn flames. Why aren't their backs going out? Forget that. Where the heck did the Hawkeye-looking guy go? He must have ran off. Odds are he's reprioritized the order of his targets. He could be focusing on thinning the herd, saving the toughest for last. Eliminating your weaker friends would rattle your stronger fighters. Wait, what? Eliminating your weaker friends would rattle your stronger fighters and handicap them. I'll chase him down. Zoro, quick, go and help him, Usopp. This guy, Luffy, just called Kaku Usopp. Quick, go and help him, Usopp, before he gets lost. Man, what a bother. Slow down, Roronoa. Gum. Wait, who are you calling Usopp? Okay, before I go on to the next page, I think... As of right now, we have the location and status of every Vegapunk. So, Atlas is with Nami. And then Pythagoras. Let me go back. Hold up. My bad, y'all. But let me see here. Okay, so let's start from the top. Shaka is injured. He got shot. Lilith is petrified. Atlas is with Robin and Chopper. Edison is right here. Nami's holding him. And then York is petrified as well. Who am I missing? Look, the point is that I think we know the status of every Vegapunk. So I'm wondering who's the traitor. Like, who could it be here? Who the heck could it be? Anyway, alright, so let me not think about that, but it's like I'm having a brain fart. Like, I can't name all 6 at this point, but I think as of right now, we know where every Vegapunk is and what their status is. However, I'm not convinced it's entirely true 100%. If there is a traitor among us, one of them is faking something. So, okay, so next page. So, Luffy... okay, so next page. Okay, so Gum Hawk Gatling. I'll blast that fire away. Use your pathetic brain, Straw Hat. It doesn't matter how many times you try hitting it. That won't work. Okay, and then... Only 1 day remains before the infamous Egghead incident. However, the wheels of this tale were set into motion 3 months ago. Okay, so this is a narration. So the narrator right now is saying, only 1 day remains before the infamous Egghead incident. However, the wheels of this tale were set into motion 3 months ago. Okay, and then we seem to cut to a panel of Kuma's memories, and Bonnie seems to be crying. Dude, when the narrator does that, you know some serious stuff is going to happen. Because usually if the narrator has to come in and tell you a certain incident is 1 day away from happening, or this incident will take place in the future, you know something big is happening. You know, it happened when Blackbeard defeated Ace. At the end of Dressrosa, the narrator was all like, you know, this the Grand Fleet is going to be the cause of a, like a catastrophic event in the future, but that's a story for another time. You know what I'm saying? So anytime the narrator comes in, it's going to be big. Dude, I really got to start keeping more water next to me because I had to step out to get water because I'm reading and look, whatever. All right, so we let's go to the next page. So okay, so yeah, so we covered that. The narrator is saying that there's going to be an infamous egghead incident. The wheels of it were set into motion 3 months ago, and then we have Kuma's memories, and Bonnie is crying. Okay, cool. So we read that. Next page. Okay, so 3 months prior, the Holy Land, Marijua. This is Egghead. Come in. I want to speak to somebody with power. Emphasis on power. Okay. Dr. Vegapunk is researching the Void Century. So whoever's calling into Marijua right now, it's got to be one of the Vegapunks who is like the traitor. The traitor that is currently in Egghead is calling right now. I think that's practically a guarantee. Okay. And then we move on. CP5 agents were dispatched to verify this tip, but their inspection revealed nothing. And their ships mysteriously disappeared as it attempted to leave Egghead. CP7 and CP8 were both deployed to shed light on the situation. However, no government ships returned from Egghead. We got another phone call going. This is Egghead again. Put me through to the top brass. I wonder if that's referring to the 5 elders themselves or Im. Okay, so next page. The conversation between the 5 elders and this individual, totally exposed to the full extent of the genius scientist's treachery. Okay. Wait, let me read that again. So the conversation between the 5 elders and this individual totally exposed the full extent of the genius scientist's treachery. Okay. And so the elders decided to order Dr. Vegapunk's assassination. It fell to Cypherpole Aegis 0 to execute the mission. Okay. However, the 5 elders anticipated that Vegapunk would resist, so they sent one of their own escorted by Admiral Kizuru. Okay, so St. J. Garcia Saturn. Okay, so that's why they are going towards Egghead. Okay, so they're thinking ahead. They also reinforced the fleet they deployed with backup from several naval branches. Okay. All right, so their caution level was raised to total war imminent. Interesting. Okay. Then, the sudden and unexpected appearance of Emperor Straw Hat Luffy's ship. Okay, so all right, here's, that's such a small, it's not a small detail, like, it's crazy. I got kind of chills right now. The narrator is, like, we know that Luffy is an emperor now, officially, but just reading that is still crazy to me. Then the sudden and unexpected appearance of Emperor Straw Hat Luffy's ship. Dang, dude, how far has Luffy come, dude? From a boy in a barrel, just with a crazy dream of being king of the pirates and getting his own crew, just happy-go-lucky Luffy. Now, he's still the same Luffy that we know and love, but he is now an emperor. That's crazy to think about, dude. Dude, I'm so proud. I feel happy. That just brings me a lot of joy, honestly. Hey, Joy Boy, Sun God Nico, Luffy. Hey, look how everything connects. Even to the real world. All right. So, Luffy's ship. So that was something they didn't anticipate. Okay, so Luffy's, the sudden and unexpected appearance of Emperor Straw Hat Luffy's ship left the government forces feeling more than a little disquieted by this complication. Did you say Straw Hat? And then Akaino. I feel like Akaino, he's just been sitting in his office ever since like post time skip. Did you say Straw Hat? And then we got Luffy laughing. Him again. In any case, this chain of events is going to culminate tomorrow, and the outcome will shock the world. Dang. But when they say tomorrow, this arc can go on for another 10, 20 chapters, and it's, that's just how it is in One Piece. But the narrator is building up hype. He is building this up, like, a lot. Vegapunk can't die, can he? He's too important. There's no way. He's got to make it back to Elbaf. If he does, okay, look. Let me keep going. So this chain of events is going to culminate tomorrow, and the outcome will shock the world. Okay, we're back to the scene of the crime. Footstep sounds. Katuk, katuk. What the devil? This was all your doing? Okay, more footsteps. Katuk. Shaka's laying down on the ground, dead or whatever. I'm scrolling down slowly. Answer me! Vegapunk looks pissed. Shadow silhouette with a gun, still walking. The agents can't believe what they're seeing. They're questioning. Okay. Scrolling down. Okay, why are you doing this? More walking. He's opening the door. Someone's opening the door to Vegapunk. Sliding. Okay. Wow, dude. Are you serious? Oh, Stella. It's 'cause I want to be a celestial dragon. That's York. That's York. She's the traitor? She's the heel? Among us? York? Really? No way. What? Okay, hold up. Oh, this actually makes sense. Okay, but let me hold my thoughts. Let me continue reading and let me, this make, okay, this kind of makes sense now a little bit. And then you go back to the title of the last chapter. You should have seen it coming. I should have seen it coming. We all should have. But let me continue reading the chapter and then I'll say my thoughts. I'm not going to forget, I promise. Okay. What are you saying, York? You know what Marija is... Wait, what? What are you saying, York? You know what Marija is like from that visit a long time ago. You know what Marija is like from that visit a long time ago. How would you... That was a weird sentence. How could you want to be one of them after witnessing just how vile they are? And then she's laughing. You sound just like Shaka. She's huge, by the way. She's tall. Holy crap. I mean, I knew how tall she was because she's bigger than Brooke and whatever the heck. But the scale, looking at it now, it's like, what the heck? Okay, anyway. You sound just like Shaka. Well, not so much now that he's dead. And she's laughing. Ah ha ha ha. Dang, look at that panel drawing. I wonder what the anime is going to do with it. Anyway, it's hard to keep track of all us Vegapunks, right? Honestly, the world really doesn't need more than one of us. Wow. The embodiment of... Wow. So that's the end of the chapter. That's the end of chapter 1078. And there's no break next week. There's no break. So that is a good thing because that now we can see how this why am I losing my train of thought? But now we can see how this progresses. So York is the traitor. All this time, you know, okay. Wow. Okay, so here's what I was gonna say, right? York is the traitor. If I remember correctly, right? It kind of makes sense now. Because York is the Vegapunk whose task is designated to sleeping, eating, and going to the bathroom for all the Vegapunks, right? So all the others can be preoccupied with their thing, you know, with their own thing, their work. And I think York is the one who takes on the bodily duties and functions. Eating, sleeping, going to the bathroom. Pretty sure that was established. And she sleeps a lot. So that right there leaves room. There's no other page, right? There's no hidden post-credits? No, there's not. Okay. So that in itself, her being the Vegapunk who spends the most time away from everybody, already allows her to move without detection. Because they're not really gonna be worried about what she's doing because it's almost a given. Oh, she eats for us, she sleeps for us, and she goes to the bathroom for us, right? And then Oh, dude. Okay, look. One other thing. When Pythagoras got blown up, I think this is chapter 1074, like somewhere in chapter 1074 or towards the end of it, whatever the heck. Pythagoras was walking by himself along a bridge. And then, at a certain point in the chapter, there's a camera angle where we can see Pythagoras, and behind him is just darkness, black. But if you look closely, you can almost see like a shadow, like a leg or a foot sticking out of the shadows. And then Pythagoras kind of looks behind him. He's like, what's that noise, right? What's that noise? And then next thing you know, boom, explosion, big explosion, and he's like broken. He's like falling apart. And then the following chapter, so that would be chapter 1075. I believe the following chapter, we find out that Pythagoras survived the explosion and that only his head is mobile, right? And then I forget who he runs up to, but he runs up to one of the Straw Hat Pirates, one of the crew. And he's very like... And Pythagoras looks very scared. Like, he looks scared and worried. And I believe he mentions something along the lines of... Like, he says something like, I saw something, but I don't want to believe it. You know, I'm paraphrasing here. But essentially, Pythagoras says that he saw something, but he doesn't want to believe it. And I want to make sure what I saw is what I saw. And then he goes on to look around and he's like, where's York? And he looks worried. That was it. Because, yeah. So who he ran into, I forget who was with York at the time. But what happened was that York was with one of the Straw Hat Pirates, I think. And then that same chapter, York got petrified by Boa's Seraphim. So then, so Pythagoras walks up and he's all like, I saw this. I don't know what to believe. I hope I didn't see what I saw. I don't want to believe it. And then he looks around. Where's York? And then we see York kind of like getting petrified by Boa. And then she falls down, petrified, turned to stone. That was a setup. That was perfect. Okay. I'm 100% right on this. I'm going to go back into the chapters, and as I'm talking about what I'm talking about, I'm going to post the, whatever the heck, the images here, so you can see what I'm talking about, because I'm pretty sure 100% that Pythagoras, after he got attacked, he found the Straw Hats, and I think York was with them, and he's all like, I don't want to believe what I saw, but I just want to make sure, where's York? And then petrified York just falls down. But I think he got played. We all did, essentially. Okay, so York is the one who is messing things up. Now, the interesting thing, I mean, I guess, yeah, you could kind of see, I went back a few pages when she's opening the door, you know, you can see the shadow is very tall, like huge. So that should have been a giveaway right there, but the point is, so York says she wants to be a celestial dragon. And then she's all like, Vegapunk can't believe it. He's like, why would you want to do that? You saw what they were like the one time we visited. You know, why do you want to be like them with how vile they are? And then she goes on to say, honestly, you know what? The world doesn't really need more than one of us. The world doesn't need more than one Vegapunk. And yeah, she's looking all creepy, and she looks like a bad guy now. Okay, so York is the traitor. Very interesting choice to make her the bad guy, essentially. I was expecting Shaka, to be honest. At one point, I was thinking, okay, maybe what if Vegapunk himself is kind of like on the fence? York being the traitor, that's a little interesting. Yeah, so now we know that she was the one who called Marie-Jo. So at first she called in and essentially snitched. Hey, Dr. Vegapunk's researching the Void Sentry. And then Cypherpole came to check. Nothing happened. They didn't make it back to the government. Okay, so then CP7 and 8 were deployed. They didn't come back either. And then I wonder if York herself is the one that prevented the ships from going back to Maresia, because by doing that, I think she would put the suspicion on Vegapunk himself. Like, oh, Vegapunk and his crew killed my people. Let's send out the big guns, CP0 and a Celestial Dragon, or in this case, a 5 Elder. Same thing, but whatever the heck. And then she calls again. She says, this is Egghead again. Put me through the top brass, meaning the 5 Elders. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so York is definitely... She snitched, and I think that was all part of her plan. But I wonder why. Like, she says she wants to be a Celestial Dragon, but what caused that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what caused that desire? Like, why, you know? Hey, good thing there's no break next week, which means we're gonna get more continuation on this story, hopefully. You know, I hope Oda doesn't do the whole, let's cut away to something else, because everybody wants to see this, dude. So York is the traitor. And according to the narrator, whatever event is going to happen, it's going to culminate tomorrow. You know, culminate tomorrow, and the outcome will shock the world. That's what the narrator is saying. You know, what if, I said this, I made a theory video about what I think the One Piece is. In a nutshell, you know, to put it, you know, just the basics. In that video, I said that I think the One Piece is simply Joy Boy's memories that he left written on a poneglyph, and that's why when Roger found it, he laughed because, you know, kind of like, essentially, my line of thinking is that Joy Boy had observation hockey so good, or he had a power so... Oh, no. My way of thinking, my line of thinking is this. Joy Boy could see into the future, many, many, many years, right? Many years. And then, when he saw what was going to happen in the future, he decided to document it, right? I feel like I think it'd be a weird, kind of weird, but a kind of neat idea if the narrator of One Piece ended up being Joy Boy. Like, a lot of stories have narrators, but I think for One Piece, I think it would be fitting if at one point we were to find out, oh, the narrator was actually Joy Boy. And we were just, you know, going through all his memories and stories that he left behind on what was going to happen. You know what I'm trying to say? Anyway, look, the point is, whatever's going to happen at Egghead is going to culminate tomorrow. It's going to shock the world. Is Vegapunk going to die, yes or no? I'm on the fence. I don't know if he is going to die, and I don't know if he should die. Because I think it would be appropriate for Vegapunk to go back to Elbaf with the Straw Hats and kind of, you know, talk about the Void Century there, because that's where everything is. You know, that's where all the documentation from Ohara is. It's in Elbaf. The Giants are protecting it. Vegapunk knows about it. So it'd be great to see him and Luffy and his crew go back to Elbaf, and then both of them work together to find out what the heck the Void Century is. And it would be very beneficial for Robin, especially, because she's smart, and she could bounce off ideas from Vegapunk himself. And it'd be very appropriate for Vegapunk to go to Elbaf. And maybe that's why it's also likely that he could die, because by him going to Elbaf, it's almost like a guarantee that the Straw Hats are gonna know every single little detail of the truth. You know, Robin can read it, but Rayleigh said, hey, maybe you'll come to another conclusion than what we did. But with Vegapunk on hand, he could influence the decision and maybe point them towards the right way or whatever the heck. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, crazy. What else could happen that's going to shock the world besides Vegapunk's death? I'm trying to figure that out. And maybe, I think, keep this in mind, Kizaru and St. J. Garcia are also on their way to Egghead, and along with other Navy branches. And at this point, I don't think... Have we seen these characters before? That kind of looks like an older version of Drake. I'm not saying it is, but it kind of looks like him. The character designs of these guys I don't recognize unless it's been a long time. But the point is, their message is clear. It says their caution level was raised to total war imminent. So they're expecting war. They're expecting war, and there might be some casualties. It could be Vegapunk. It could be government agents. What if, imagine freaking Kizaru or Saint J. Garcia like die? That would be shocking. That right there would be absolutely shocking to everybody. This story is gonna get crazy. Like, this is a crazy arc, man. I'm interested to see what Saint J. Garcia's powers are, because as a 5 elder, top of the line, you know, only second, you know, the M is the top, the ruler, the king of the world, queen of the world, whatever. I think she's a girl. Beyond M, beyond her, the 5 elders are the best, right? So this might be the first time we see a 5 elder in action. That seems very heavy. You got an elder, Saint J. Garcia. You got Admiral Kizaru, and then other Navy branches. It's gonna be a bloodbath. Holy moly, dude. Dang. But what is York's goal here? I mean, what? And what is Kuma gonna do? And Bonnie, Bonnie got an appearance in this chapter. If you go back a couple pages, once the narration starts, somewhere we're going, yeah. So right here, and one of the pages we see that Bonnie is just kneeling, hands on her face, crying, you know, tears flowing out of her eyes, just pouring. So I'm assuming that at this point, Bonnie has seen all of Kuma's memories and absolutely knows what his past is, why Kuma is doing what he's doing, and maybe what's going to come in the future. And then we got to keep in mind, Kuma's also scaling the red line right now. Like, he's trying to go towards Marijo, so I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen. There's a lot of things going on, and it's... Dang. It's crazy how endgame vibes this is giving off, you know? And we're not anywhere near done to the story. Close to done to the story. We still got to go to Elbaf, and then whatever the final arc is. Dang. One Piece is getting spicy, dude. I mean, it already was, but it's just getting better and better as time goes on. Holy moly. Dang. Wow. Anyway, look. That's going to do it for my reading of One Piece chapter 1078. So next week is 1079. And I feel like after next week's chapter, there's going to be a break. I feel like it's coming. There's going to be like some massive cliffhanger next week, and then we're all going to suffer. Holy crap, dude. Holy moly. What a chapter. This was pretty good. And the way the narrator built up the hype as to, hey, you know, you better be prepared for Egghead because something big is happening. What's going to happen, man? I don't know. This One Piece is crazy. Anyway, like I said, that's going to do it for my reading of this week's chapter. Hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know what y'all thought. Crazy story, crazy chapter. I'm liking it, loving it a lot. Anyway, hope you guys have a good day. Stay safe out there, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.